All right, welcome. Episode 307 of Citizens United with me and Noelle.
I feel like we just celebrated, what was it, 200?
Yeah, we've hit 307. It's crazy. Wow. Years are flying by.
Yeah.
You got to look back at us, how young, me, not you.
No, I look different like every year. It's like there was a difference. Like I was either big or something. My hair was a different color. It was crazy.
But you don't look old. Like I'm really, it's starting to show.
You know what? I used to get the Botox injection.
Well, now
I don't get them anymore because my insurance won't cover it for my headaches.
I wear glasses. I never wore glasses. Now I'm into glasses. Yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah,
I'm getting old. You're not. You're doing well. You're doing all right.
My face is starting to like sink in.
You're doing good. Come on.
No, it's not just that too. I think because they ripped my teeth out. So
we've got Gail and Jerry and Robbins here, and of course, when you guys out there hear their voice, I'll do the best I can because someday we're going to have cameras, and we don't yet, but someday we will. Like when you hear Gail talk, I'll pop that up and just give us a minute, or a second, because there could be a short delay in case you're looking for an answer or something. And if you're in the comments, please ask questions. Also, give us a like, a follow, a share. Yes. We do still take stars, which are really cool because all that goes towards trying to get better equipment. We actually.
Yes. And let me make clear, none of that money goes to me. I don't make money off of this. So.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, neither of us. Yeah.
We would be rich by now, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
We wouldn't be having all the problems we have.
No money. Yeah, all money goes towards trying to. We actually got a camera. Before we were using a cell phone. Remember how long? For probably 250 episodes.
Just to get that little camera.
Yeah, now we have a camera. Yeah. But someday. All right, more people saying hello. Real quick before we get our guest, who we're not going to make him wait. He's a very busy guy. Dennis Hannon, running for New York 26. We want to send him to Washington to defeat Tim Kennedy, who's done nothing for the whole time he's been there. I don't even know who he is unless I see him on TV. Real quick, though, and then we'll get to it after, I'm sure, too. God, the weather.
Oh, my God. I woke up. Well, first of all, I woke up with the alarm, and I was excited. But then the day, I couldn't enjoy the rest of the day.
Well, no, it was a tornado warning.
Thank God you showed up with my dad.
I didn't do it. Yeah, well, I was there. I was ready.
Yeah.
But it was a disaster.
As soon as your mom told us where he was, John got his boots on and went.
Well, I'm right in the middle of the, so I turn around. Here comes John. I go, wow, John.
Well, we could have pushed, but then I realized we couldn't push nothing.
It was locked. The steering wheel was locked. Even though we turned the key and there was some electricity, the displays were on, it was still wouldn't turn that.
I spoke to our meteorologist, Citizens United meteorologist and friend, Chris Ruggiero, and there hasn't been a tornado warning in his mind that he remembers, and an actual warning put out by the National Weather Service.
Always
watches.
I wanted there to be a tornado.
But I always thought if they said warning, it was on the ground. That's what I guess not. I guess it was just so close.
And it was above us.
There's pictures of it funneling.
It was starting to churn, but it never really developed.
All right, let's get first off, most importantly, our really good friend, Dennis Hannon, who we've known for a long, long time.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yes, we're making millions.
Scott.
And and we got to get, and it'd be awesome if he'd be in Washington, because he's the type of guy that everyone would want to be there.
Yeah.
Because
he's who we need.
Yeah. He's definitely. Not only whatever, it's just it's so much common sense. We're going to talk about common sense now here too.
It ain't common.
No, it isn't.
No,
it isn't common. But here's our friend, and he's running for New York 26 for Congress. Dennis Hannon. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
Well, everybody, nice to see you again.
Hi, Dennis.
I got my hoops.
How's it? Yeah, what are those? Are those 3 or 4 inch
ones.
diameter? Those look like 3 inches.
These are the ones that they just, if I ever have to get into a fight, somebody just rip them right out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that breaks?
Chinese throwing star once.
My hoops made the news. I mean, that's what you see first is like the huge hoop.
Yeah. If we start, if
That's
a fight
breaks, personality now.
Yeah, the hoops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part. Yeah.
I've been wearing hoops since I think middle school. I just loved them ever since. So J-Lo, It was because I watched a J-Lo
I love
music video.
J-Lo.
She was wearing the hoops. I was like, oh, I need to get those, and then I never stopped wearing them.
They don't get caught in anything?
Oh, they do. They absolutely do.
Everyone's saying hello. We've got Cindy. We got Roxanne. Let's and Stacy. Hi guys. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us. Please, if you have questions for Dennis, put them in there, and I will give them to him. All right, Dennis. Running for New York 26. Trying to send you to Washington to defeat Tim Kennedy. He's a machine, right? He's got the whole machine about him.
Tim Kennedy, who's in there right now,
yeah.
So what has Tim Kennedy ever done for anybody? Like, has he done accomplished anything, or is he just?
It's a great question. He's been in public office for about 20 years. I believe he was a senator before that. There was some controversy around how he used his campaign funds when he was in Senate. There was a investigative post, I think, a journalist wrote about it, about how he raised the most money when he wasn't up for re-election, and he actually ended up being our current congressman now. So he's been in office for a while. I mean, he really represents the political machine. He is a establishment, mainstream political guy. He kind of goes whatever way the wind blows. He's one of those guys, and I always caution people about this. I say, look, if you meet a politician that you agree with 100% of the time on, he's lying to you. In this case, I have not met a single person yet that agrees with anything that he says. A lot of the times, honestly, I think what I'm going to start doing is, I think when I go out and I talk to people, I'm just going to bring an empty suit with me with a name tag that says Tim Kennedy, because that's pretty much what he is to a lot of his constituents, just an empty suit. One thing is for certain, though, he never misses a photo op.
Oh, it's always like the mirror.
Yeah, so like when I do press conferences, I typically like to make it around who I call the stakeholders. We'll have family impact or victim statements. Basically, the people that are affected. That's where the focal point of press conferences should be, because the most important storyteller in any kind of press conference is the person who's living through the experience. You'll notice he never misses an opportunity. You don't hear from families. He just gets up there and talks. And a lot of the times it's just blaming Trump for all of his problems, all of our problems.
I've got a question from Roxanne Summers. It's a great question, and it's a vague one, but a good one. I have an important question for you. What makes you different than the rest? Yeah,
so I never wanted to run. This isn't something that I dreamed of. I was actually just telling John and Noelle, I think if you ever grow up and you say, like, I want to be a congressman, I want to be a senator, you're probably a psychopath. I got into this because of my grassroots activism work. So and when we talk about that, like, how do you get into grassroots activism? Every single activist that I talk to, and I'm not talking about the paid activists, I'm not talking about the people that get paid to be boots on the ground. I'm talking about the people that they pay out of their own pocket for the cause that they believe in. It's usually always people that go through a difficult time, a stressful time, and they're given two choices. They either choose to fight or they choose to run away. And the people that I deal with and how I got into this is from fighting for my son, fighting for parental rights, fighting against biological men in women's spaces, fighting against maiming and sterilizing children. Those were the things that I fought for. And so I've surrounded myself with other people who continue to fight, but really, when you do that and you keep fighting, eventually you fight for other people. And that's kind of how I got into this. I'm not here. I have a great job. I work in IT for a living. And so I don't need this. I don't have to do this. But when I look at my children and I look at the way the world is today, I'm scared for them. I'm scared of what their future is going to look like. And really, I think the goal of me running is so that maybe I can give them a little bit of hope at having what I had when I grew up.
Right.
Well, that's a great answer.
Like, we always complain, and like we always talk about how terrible things are in this world. But when you ask people what they're doing to make it better, they say nothing. They're silent. And it's because people have jobs. We're like hamsters running on a wheel to keep the lights on. We don't want to challenge the status quo because we're afraid of losing our jobs. We're afraid of taking the risk because we're just so focused constantly on putting food on the table. And what has happened is we've become perfectly subservient consumers, is it? And so unless this fight comes to your door, people don't really want to rock the boat with the lives that they have. And me, I'm in a unique situation where I've already rocked that boat. I've already made my opinions clear. One thing's for certain, even if you do a little bit of research on me, you'll find that I'm not willing to compromise my beliefs for acceptance. That ship has already sailed. I've been canceled. All right. I've gone through that. There is nothing that anybody can say or do to me that hasn't already been done before. And because of that, when you've already lost everything a couple times in your life and you've had to start over, the one thing that you lose in all that is fear. I have no fear. So I'm at the point where it's like, if not me, then who? What have I got to lose? And at the end of the day, what I want to do with this campaign is I want to use this platform, the resources that I have, the skills that I have to make an impact, to make a difference. And so like that's what I did in Niagara Falls with some of those families that were impacted by the radioactive contamination in their backyards, because I know the numbers that I'm facing. It's a 2.5 to 1 Democrat versus Republican district. I know what kind of uphill battle that I have. But if we can get through all that and then November comes and regardless of what happens, we can look back and say, wow, we really made an impact. We really made a difference. To me, that's worth it. Because my fight is going to continue beyond November 3rd. This is what I do. This is what I've always done. So really, what's going to happen is how I fight after November 3rd might just be a little different.
Right. Well, ever since we met you, because you were a fighter, you were fighting for your son when we first met you, and you have not lost a battle, I don't think, that I know of.
Kimberly says the best people to represent us are the ones that have a personal stake. Yeah. Absolutely, and Dennis always has. And
Dennis
go ahead,
is just
Robin.
an all-around good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Dennis is the busiest person I know. And when I was in ICU, he spent hours on the phone with John.
Yeah, he's a good person. Even the families at the meeting, I mean, they stood up, started screaming like Dennis's name because Dennis was helping those families. And
But that's not why I do it.
Right.
And I want to caution people because I recently attended a church service, and the service, it was about fulfillment. And fulfillment is what people are hard-coded to feel when they do good for other people. But I caution that because you have a lot of people that will do good to chase that feeling. And that is not why I do it. That's not. It's about making an impact because we're all going to grow old. And when we look back on our lives, the last thing I want to do is think coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. Or even worse, I did things because I had the wrong intentions.
right.
This is a good comment, and I like it from Monica. I love Dennis, and I don't like any politicians. That's good. That's a really good statement because I agree. I generally don't like politics. Dennis, you don't. You don't like politicians.
Yeah, I mean, apart from being called a pedophile, I think being called a politician is probably one of the worst things you could be called.
Right. Yeah, right. Let me ask you, like, if you run into Democrats, because I know it's like 2.5 to 1 and all that stuff, you probably run into a lot that like you. I mean, because you don't come across as the guy who's just going to be the rubber stamp. You're not. I mean, I think it'd be easy for you to say, hey, this Republican's wrong or anything's wrong. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, look, I cross the party lines all the time. I'm not for data centers. Republicans, for some reason, love data centers. We're kind of on the fence about solar panels and windmills. I don't want solar panels or windmills, and I can go into those conversations and explain to people why. And look, like, I'm not going to pretend that I know everything. But we live in a day and age where any kind of information we need is at our fingertips. And I'm just really good at filtering through the noise. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to research everything. I'm not going to give people lines of BS. They can smell it a mile away. But what I will do is say, hey, that's a great question. Let me take that back. Let me think about it. Let me do my research. And I can promise people that I will always have a reason as to why I will vote the way I do, no matter what. And so I think that that's important. I'm not just gonna look. I'm not here to please party bosses. I'm not. I've never been a go with the flow kind of guy. I've always done my own thing. I do my own research. I make my own conclusions. But most importantly, when I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah, and that's huge in life, by the
Me
way.
too, unless it comes down to like Ryan.
That's a good point, Kimberly.
But that's huge in life, though, too. I think, Dennis, is being able to say you're wrong. Once you have no problem admitting you're wrong, that's like, that changes everything, don't you think?
Yeah, when you think that you know everything and there's nothing left to learn, not only are you ignorant and arrogant, but you stop growing. In every single facet of life, you have stopped, and that's not what I want to do. And I want to keep going. I have to be competitive. I have to stay ahead of everything. I'm a technologist by trade, and that moves so quick. And so I think even just with what I do for a living, you have to be able to adapt and you have to be able to overcome. Otherwise, you'll just be left in the dust. And so I want to make sure that I'm ahead of these things. I'm always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. I think that that's important, but I think it's important for everybody to question everything around them. Don't even just take what I say, for face value. Do your own research. Challenge people around you, because that is the only way that you will ever find the truth in life.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. Jason says this. I just want to read it and then we're going to react to it because I get it. New York, Niagara County and Niagara Falls sucks. High taxes, water bills, etc. I have lived in the same house 53 years. I have seen nothing but decline. Never in my lifetime I will see Niagara Falls great. How do you answer to that? Because you know what? I get it and I almost feel the same way. Like, is there any way how the hell do you, just react to what he just said? 'Cause I'm sure you hear that.
No, he's right. And so, like, to your point, you said something earlier. You said that there's probably even a lot of Democrats that agree with me. And I've had them message me and they say, look, I disagree with you on a lot of things, but I agree with you on the things that matter the most to me. That was just last week somebody said that. Because at the end of the day, whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, 80% of us are talking about the same things at the dinner table, the most important issues, the cost of living. I remember when I was growing up, my father was a general contractor. My mother was stay at home. He raised a family of 4 on his own. Right. That's like, we nowadays, every single married woman I talk to, or even any woman with a child that I talk to, they wish that they could be afforded the option to stay home with their children if they choose. Unfortunately, everything has just become so unaffordable, and it's scary. I think that one of the biggest threats that we face is socialism. And because you look at things like Medicare, or Medicaid rather, it's just that alone, the cost of that has gone up 50% in the last 5 years to taxpayers. And we have folks like Mamdani out in New York City and these socialist policies that are being pushed. Free is literally the most expensive word in the dictionary. And we need to focus on citizens. We need to focus on things that matter the most. We have such rampant fraud that we're trying to clamp down on. When you spend as much money as we do on Medicare and Medicaid, we should all be on a Cadillac plan.
Yeah.
But we're not. And the issue is not to throw more money at everything. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem, and it's how the money is spent.
Let me ask you, Dennis. You got most people, I would think, want, and I don't care what party you're in, you want security, right? You do. You want to be safe in your home. I'd assume that includes your country. You know what I mean? Whatever. You want to be safe where you are. How much of that problem with the spending is because of the amount of people we've allowed in that then would, I mean, we talk, fraud, all those things. I mean, that in general is just a fraud on its own, is that we've allowed so many people in. Of course, Medicaid and Medicare's got to be just overwhelmed. It's got to be an unbelievable, avalanche of new
Yeah.
people that we just didn't see coming in the past, but probably 10 years, maybe even 5, 10, right?
No, absolutely. And I want to just make this clear. I have no problem with legal immigration through lawful ports of entry. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who think that they are better than the people who came here legally and they can skip the process and the law doesn't apply to them. That's who we're talking about. We're talking about all of the illegals that we have housed and given Medicare or medical benefits and all of these other handouts to, when we can't even relocate the families in Niagara Falls who have radioactive contamination in their backyards.
Exactly.
Just between Erie and Niagara County alone. So, and it's hard to track these numbers because a lot of these are estimates at best. But based on the numbers that we know of, we have housed 500 illegals between Erie and Niagara County, but yet we can't rehome 4 homeowners in Niagara Falls. It's about priorities, and our priorities are out of whack. There was a study done that showed we were giving FHA-backed loans to people here on a temporary visa status and people that were here illegally. I'm talking loans for houses, meaning these people took out a 30-year mortgage and they're not even a permanent resident. And the study showed that it drove the cost of houses up 20 to 30% in some areas, in some of these states, 20 to 30%. So now you have citizens or legal immigrants who did the right thing. They swore allegiance to the United States. They denounced any allegiance to any foreign country. They learned the language. They went through the process. They did what they had to. And now they're being outbid by the people who simply just walked across the border to evade perhaps prosecution in the country that they came from.
I'll never understand anybody who can defend illegal immigrants like they're.
And you know what, Dennis? Yeah. The thing that bothers me the most, it was done purposely with full intent.
And do you know why? I think you know why.
Well, there's a couple reasons why. The voter base and then the census, right?
Well, yeah. So illegals are counted in the census, and the census is used for districting to determine how many delegates we have, how many congressional reps we get, how we draw our district lines. And then what do they try to do? They try to gerrymander the lines based on race. Okay, that's called segregation. That's illegal. You can't do that. You can't separate people by race. So it's just wild to see the kind of things that are coming out. It's like, look, if I need an ID for the unlimited pasta pass at Olive Garden, why is it racist to demand photo voter ID to go choose the next leader of the United States?
Well, of course it isn't. It isn't.
No, it's not. It's not. And quite frankly, I find it very racist that people want to accuse our black and brown friends of not being able to get a license.
Right.
All of my, if you were to ask them that, they would laugh in your face. What a joke. Come on. Just like, who was it, the politician that said that they couldn't use a computer? It's like, do you even hear yourself?
Yeah. Oh, who said that? I remember. Wasn't it Kathy Hochul?
No, that's
She did say something about
that. Was it Newsom said he didn't know how to read or write or whatever?
It's like, it's racist at its core. Even when you look at AI hiring policies, it's like, if I'm a business owner, I want to hire people based on merit and talent.
They don't.
Robin, go ahead.
Going back, Dennis, to what you were saying about the cost of living and families and everything, don't you think the fact that the cost of living going up has really led to the degradation of the family because married women don't have that option of staying home and raising their kids anymore? Like, I mean, most people our age, their mother stayed home and raised us.
Right.
And Stacy's right too. It fuels human trafficking also.
Yeah,
it does, and it leads to desperation, and desperate people do desperate things. But more importantly, you have both parents working, and who's raising their children? It's the daycare. It's whoever, we need to get back to a time when we had people that promoted hard work and doing the grind and doing the work that it takes. And now it's unfortunate that a lot of people just want handouts, but like that's the day and age that we live in. Everybody wants to get rich quick.
It's got to start with early childhood. Coming from a teaching profession, believe me, for years they've been slowly whittling away all the good things that we need to raise kids. Yep. Trust me on that. And we fought it. A lot of teachers fight it, believe it or not. But hey, everyone's going to win the Super Bowl. Nobody fails, and the work ethic has gone steadily down.
Yep. Yeah, fatherless homes. That's a big thing. I'm a huge advocate of promoting programs that will promote fatherhood engagement, because I think that that's huge. Having both parents in the home, that's a huge thing. A child needs both the love and nurture of a mother, like they need the discipline and structure of the father. We, as genders, it seems like we want to parade this idea that we are all equal. And at face value, it sounds nice, but the fact of the matter is there are things that a mother is going to be better at than a father is not, and vice versa. We really need to embrace the gender differences, because at the end of the day, it takes two. It really does. And I was very fortunate enough to be raised in a home where I had both parents, and there were certain things that I went to my mother for as opposed to my father, and there were certain lessons that I learned from my father that my mother just couldn't teach me. And I think that it takes both halves to complete the whole, especially when it comes to early childhood. And so, like, this is a very controversial thing that I'm going to segue into, and I haven't really talked about this a whole lot. But we talk about, you see all of these politicians get up and give lip service on what they're going to do for Black and Brown America. And the best thing that we could do for Black and Brown America is put more fathers in the homes.
Yep.
Because the numbers don't lie. There is an epidemic of fatherless homes in Black and Brown America. And I know that people don't want to talk about it, but we need to talk about these difficult things so that, it starts with, one, acknowledging that there is a problem, and two, listening to people and then doing something to address that problem.
Right.
Will and I said, what is your answer to drug addiction and the homelessness that comes along with it?
Drug addiction is tough. I think that we all know somebody who has battled drug addiction. I think a lot of that, it can come from poverty. It can come from the struggle that people have to face in everyday lives. I think that when you look at how unhappy people are, they're looking for an escape, and they're looking to solve their problems easily. And a lot of the times they self-medicate, and that's their way to cope with everyday life. At the same time, I think it's a delicate balance, because we need to provide treatment and we need to provide support for these people, but we can't promote that. So I don't believe in like these safe shoot up areas.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Absolutely not.
And free needles and this and that. Like, we need to be tough on crime. We need our police officers to enforce the laws. We can't have selective prosecution, and people need to understand that there are very real consequences for their actions, because quite often when you have serious drug addiction, other crime follows. People are robbing each other. They're shooting each other over a bag of dope. There needs to be serious consequences. So maybe if they get clean in a jail cell, and we can get them the treatment and the support they need while they're sitting in a jail cell, they won't go out and reoffend. We can't just have this soft on crime approach where we just catch and release.
Yeah.
Robin, you got a question before I read the comments?
Yeah. Do you think, like, we were talking to our 23-year-old son the other night and telling him about a time where not everybody got a participation trophy. Do you think that's part of the problem with society now too?
Yeah, it is. 100%. Look, and it goes back to this push for, they call it equality, but we are not all equal. I was born with certain opportunities that some other people might not have. Other people, they were born into into wealthy families with opportunities I wouldn't have. Life is what you make it. And the American dream is yours for the taking. It's about working hard. It's about doing the right things, making the sacrifices that it takes to be successful. And results are not guaranteed, but your odds of success get better with each failed attempt. And so, you know, like I encourage people to have a family, get married, start a business, pave your own way in life.
Yeah, great point is don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to fail because it happens to the best of them.
Years ago in school, I remember having a meeting with the principal. She came in, she was upset. They took away student of the month. We had student of the month for high achievement, and they eventually took it away because it made the other kids feel bad, so they said. And my response to that was, well, maybe some of these kids want to see that and be that. They struck competition is good. No, and they took it away.
Yeah, like, you know, and this is the problem that we have. We need to be competitive as a society. We need to be competitive as a country. And how do you drive people to be the best that they can ultimately be at everything they do if you just treat the person who sits on their ass and does nothing and give them the rewards of somebody that actually put in the hard work? It kind of reminds me of like when I was in science lab and I didn't do shit, and I just hoped that I could get partnered up with somebody who was really good because I knew the grade was shared. It's the same logic. Like that wasn't helping me. That wasn't like my laziness wasn't helping me understand the curriculum. It was somebody else doing the work and carrying the weight. And that's ultimately, and we need people to be innovative, and we need to drive ingenuity in America so that we can be the best. And we can't be the best if we just treat everybody as if they're all the same, regardless of how much effort they put into something. And I'm talking about merit and skill.
Let's we got a couple questions. Stacy says you're a great IT guy. What's your position on flock cameras?
I hate them. I think it's a violation of privacy. I'm a constitutionalist. So this kind of goes back to data centers. You see these flock cameras everywhere. And let me tell you, so like the cashless tolls for the Grand Island Bridge, that was the pilot system. Meaning they wanted to see, if we put in these cameras for the Grand Island Bridge or cashless tolls, can we read license plates on cars as they go by and then send them the tolls in the mail? Okay, great. Now, can we identify any other features of the car? Can we determine the make and model and color? Okay, great. Yeah, we can. All right. Can we see any other identifying features of that car, such as dings, scrapes, dents, anything like that? All right. Yeah, we can. So now that was the pilot. And now what they did was, then the next phase was they started putting those cameras in like work zones in areas to catch you for speeding. The next phase is they want to integrate those cameras everywhere else and put them all over the street. And that's why they need the data centers. I'm telling you, people, you know, you can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me what you want. I work in technology. I see the writing on the wall. The goal of all of these cameras everywhere and all of these data centers that they want to put in every township now, it's all the data centers they want to use to process the data from the flock cameras and all of these other cameras that were everywhere else. And they're going to determine certain things. They want to know, you know, can we get certain data points to identify an individual based on their facial features, how they walk, their height, their weight. That's what it's about. It's about taking the speed cameras and the cashless toll systems to the next step. And it's going to be very Orwellian, meaning they're going to have facial recognition, and based on how long it takes you to get from one camera to the other, they're going to be able to determine how fast you're going, what camera they first seen you on. They're going to be able to determine about where you were coming from, where you're going. I am not for flock cameras at all. I see the writing on the wall. I know where this is going to lead to.
Yeah, that's the part of, you know, people talk about communism and things.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then how do they use that information? How do they sell that information?
Exactly.
So
Gregory,
if I'm on camera taking part in risky behaviors, are they going to sell that to insurance companies?
Right. Gregory, we have Dennis for a couple more minutes here. If you have some issues that we haven't touched on, feel free. Just put them in the message board. I'll definitely ask him. Just let me know because I'm missing something.
Kimberly's talking about drug court in Lockport.
Drug court. What do we think of drug court? Dennis, any thoughts on that?
I've never been to drug court. I don't really have an opinion on that, mostly because I don't have any experience in that area.
Right, and I'm assuming that must just be court that you go to.
Kimberly, who's the judge, by the way? Because it's I've never heard. I want to know who the judge is. I didn't know we had good judges around here.
How hard is it for you, Dennis, to I know you got to be in this, and me and you've done shows about this, and the way in the past we did a podcast about things. And there was it's hard to be a Democrat or a Republican. It is for me. It's so hard for me. But you got to be one in this day and age. And we know, sadly, for the Democrats, they've gotten to the point where you can't even be one of them, unfortunately, because of the way the things are. It's too much. Like the normal common sense people can't be one. Usually, I take that back from my Democrat friends out there that are, because I know there are ones, they are regular. They know, because I know you talk to them.
They're disenfranchised.
Yeah. They're not
They're totally disenfranchised because of the way that the Democratic Party's going. It's almost like the blue dog Democrats don't even exist anymore.
No.
And now you have to be on board with men and women's sports. And you have to, you have to want guaranteed income for everybody, and you have to be a part of the DSA, the Democratic Socialist Party. That's really the direction that it's going, and that's not just my belief. I mean, you look at the Democratic primaries.
Yep.
And you have the pretend Speaker of the House. The next one, Hakeem Jeffries, he's going to have a lot of trouble keeping that house in order if the Democrats take over, because even the left-leaning Democrats, the progressive Democrats nowadays, aren't even progressive enough with the new wave of Democratic socialists coming in.
Yeah, no, we are probably as close as I've ever seen, Dennis, to maybe legitimate someday a third or fourth party happening, because I know there's people on the right that are too far right, even for people that call themselves the right. You know what I mean? So we might be getting. What do you think, Dennis? Are we close? Do you think we're close? Maybe.
I mean, we kind of have four parties already, but really they're just branches of the two primary parties. You have the Working Family Party, which just is in lockstep with the Democratic Party, and then you have the Conservatives, which are a little bit more further right than the Republicans, I would say, in my opinion. So we already have that. I think there was a president, one of our founding fathers warned of a two-party system.
Yep.
And said that it's a republic if you can keep it, but they also warned of having this two-party system. And what we see, even on both sides, and I'm speaking bipartisan here, that the party bosses control a lot of it.
Right.
And, you have to fall in line. Thankfully, my party bosses, I can say and do pretty much whatever I want. I mean, I closely align with the Conservative Party, but, I'm not worried about having to fall in line with them. They give me a lot of freedom, and I appreciate that, because I wouldn't be running if I couldn't be myself. Right. But to your point, I mean, I don't know what the future is. Is the future a four-party system, or is the future a one-party system? I don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Robin.
Something that was said in the comments that we missed. Mondani is asking for ID for the free grocery stores, but not for voting. What are your thoughts on that?
I read a report too that he wants to have a card like they do in Cuba for rations. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I've seen that report come out. Yeah, and it's like nobody is getting on a rickety boat to go to Cuba to escape capitalism.
No.
Right.
And it's funny how the only people that are pushing this nonsense are those that have earned a very comfortable living through capitalism.
True. Right. Isn't that a great point?
Failed everywhere. It's going to bankrupt us. With the way that my opponent Tim Kennedy and Kathy Hochul and all of these other folks, the way that they're going, they want to totally socialize healthcare. You're not going to have private health insurance. It's going to cost New Yorkers another $250 billion a year in new and additional taxes. And then you have things like the good cause eviction law, which gives the squatters and tenants more rights than the landlords have. And one of the key pillars for socialism is to abolish private property. And so they're going to make it so if you're a landlord or you're a landowner, it's no longer profitable. You don't have any rights anymore. You're not going to want to have these buildings as income properties, and then it'll get taken over and it'll be turned into affordable housing run by the state. That's it. Like, that's the end game in all of this.
This is interesting, and obviously we couldn't do this because our parties are way too strong and they control way too much. They're probably the two biggest criminals. The winner should be president and loser vice president, and learn to get along and survive together. Wouldn't that be fun? And that's cool. I would be for that. Never happened in a million years, but
Make good TV.
Yeah, it could work. I mean, in theory, why not? Why wouldn't that be? Where do they do? They do that in other places, don't they? Like in Canada, maybe someone or no, different states have that. No, I'm sorry, different states have that, right? Where the I think there's an election for the lieutenant governor. Like a governor is one thing and the lieutenant governor is something else, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen marriages like that and they don't really work out too well.
Yeah. No, that is true. All right, Dennis. So I know on August 11th, a fundraiser is coming, right?
Yeah.
Where are we?
August 11th. It's a week from tomorrow, I believe, at 5:30. I'm going off of memory here, and it's at Dandelions, which is in Williamsville. And I always tell people it's $60 a person, I believe, is what it starts at. But contribute what you can. I really just want to see a bunch of people there. I got a little surprise that I plan on putting on. So it's going to be a good time. But really, I couldn't do this without the support of everyone. I mean, the outcry of support and people coming forward and wanting to volunteer has been amazing. But unfortunately, it takes money. And I understand that we're all struggling. We all have families, and it's tough. But if you want to come, shoot me a message, contribute what you can, and we'll make it happen.
Well, thanks, Dennis.
That's awesome.
And the election is November, right?
It is November 3rd.
November
And
3rd.
it's really easy to volunteer for Dennis's campaign. If you go on his website, you just click the button, send your information. I did it today. Volunteered for social media stuff. He has all kinds of opportunities. Click the button and volunteer for Dennis.
And the signs are coming.
Yes, the signs.
Yes.
They were ordered on Friday.
Awesome.
I have to get the proof yet from the printer, but they're on their way. And I've had a lot of people asking me, but this is about the normal time that you would get signs for congressional or Senate candidates. Yeah. So like, usually other races, like for example, the governor races, they're usually early on.
Right.
But now's about the time. And I know that there's a group order that was put in. But I'm also happy to get other people, other candidate signs as well. So if you want a Bruce Blakeman sign or any other candidate that might be running in your area, I can also get that as well. And I'm more than happy to, get that delivered to you or tell you the location where you can pick those up together if you're interested in getting a Hannon for Congress sign.
I definitely need a sign.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis, we'll let you go. It's been 45 minutes and we're lucky to have you because I know you're very busy, but you need to go spend, you need to relax, go spend time with that great family. So thanks, man. We'll be reaching back out again because we need to talk to you again. I got some stuff I want to talk to you about, like overseas stuff, but we'll do that on the next show.
Yeah, I'm always down. My 2 cents is free.
All right, awesome. All right, Dennis.
Call me, Dennis.
Take care, buddy.
Sounds good. See you.
Bye.
Our friend and hopefully new congressman that we'll send to Washington.
I really think that if people get out and actually vote, I really think that he
There you go. There's your problem.
that is a promise. People getting out and vote. Everybody, it happens with every single time that it comes time to vote for somebody for an election. Everybody runs their mouth and says, "Oh my God, this
Yeah.
person needs to win. I want this person. I want this change." But then when it comes time to vote, nobody gets out and votes. Nobody.
Yep.
You're
And that's-
absolutely right.
And that's the story of our country. Yeah.
It's the same people voting.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're a guy your fault anyway.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear anybody who doesn't go out and vote
It doesn't
complain.
count. My vote doesn't count.
I mean, now,
That's their way out.
and now if someone says this, let me read this. It's a little bit long. They took the time to type
Yeah,
it.
this
So
is
let me
cool.
read it. Socialism does not work. I came legally from Barcelona, Spain in 1969, running from socialism. Now look at my country again. Oh, sure, you can. Now look at my country again. Now I see this here. If you love your children and grandchildren, vote for what will be good for them. And that is not socialism. I have PTSD from all this, and I came here at the age of 8. And now I'm reliving this trauma again. Please do the right thing at the polls. Interesting.
Yeah.
What else?
I got something.
What do you? Well, we're not. I mean,
Oh, okay.
we're not wrapping it. Is this for like to wrap it up
Yeah,
type
that-
thing? Okay,
yeah.
I mean a couple more minutes.
All right.
You're really just look at
I'm
that.
sorry.
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Nice handwriting.
We will be. Oh,
Doesn't he have the nicest handwriting?
it's ridiculous. Oh boy. I what in the world?
I know. I just had to point that out.
But you know, her handwriting's out of control. If you,
I want like her, like next time I get like writing done for a tattoo, I want it to be
Yeah.
in Robin's writing. Like that's how
Yes.
clean and neat it is. It should be like its own font that you could choose on. Like online, when you have to choose the fonts and stuff,
Right.
they should turn that into a type of.
but
If you
ask her to,
If you could see my notebooks at home,
and if you could see how long it takes to write, it is unbelievable. If she's got to write something, she might as well be etching it in stone. Like it takes. So I never seen. It could take hours to do a couple sentences, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she won't admit.
How
it.
long did
No.
it take you to get your handwriting that nice?
when I was a kid, I sent my grandparents a thank you note for my Christmas gifts. And my grandfather said, "Your handwriting is so nice, and someday you're going to send something to someone, and that's going to be a reflection of you." And I just always thought, yeah, that's a good point. And so I've always made it a point to just write neat.
It's like the most perfect handwriting I've ever seen.
Contact Dennis if you felt you've been ignored by your representation. He's here and he wants to help, as you can see. And it's on Facebook, info@hannonforcongress.com. Hey, let's see what Gary says. Hey, get out and vote. Here in Niagara Falls, Canada, we had a 27% turnout.
Wow, that's terrible.
We're just as terrible. We're just as bad. What else?
But their sites are sure.
Oh, I want to make it last week. You guys, I felt so bad. I already spoke to Dante. When Dante was on, I had the worst panic and anxiety attack. I mean, brutal. When I said I had to go to the bathroom, I did not have to go to the bathroom. I was ready to throw up all over the place.
Right.
It was terrible. So, for anybody who's wondering, I don't want you thinking like anything weird. I just did not feel good. I was.
they're
Thank
not
God
a
I'm off the
joke.
medicine that I was on, but it made me sick to my stomach. Like just.
Those
And
stress,
I can vouch for it because
Yeah,
I was on the
I've
same
seen 'em,
medicine and it
yeah.
made me sick.
they're not a joke. That's real stuff. And anybody who thinks it isn't, just get one and see what you
It
think.
actually took like a few days. I ended up having something similar happen to me the next day, and then the next day, not as strong, but as bad. But it lasted for like 3 days to get out of my system.
I know before this was a little bit of something to kind of laughed at it, but what John Manzeri says here, I would love for that to have the president and vice president be two separate parties. I would love to see us have to do that and be forced, because then what that would mean, the parties meant nothing.
Could you
Right.
imagine Kamala Harris being our
But-
vice president?
We couldn't be though. It wouldn't have happened. Like it would have. This is too far.
But it would be great.
It's too far gone. But
Mhm.
if we could do that and be normals, like be normal human
Yeah.
beings and not have to have
Remember,
two people that are so polar opposite that we can't even get along. But-
I remember, I might be wrong on this one, but I remember like Reagan and Tip O'Neill.
Uh,
Guys, they were like total opposites on a
Opposites,
lot
yeah.
of things, but not everything. And they
Right.
got along great.
we kind of need it because
It's got to get back to
it's
that.
got to get back to that. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to have a Democrat and a Republican or whomever both
Well,
be there.
Tony, I'll check my
But-
inbox. My inboxes. I'm so sorry. I haven't been looking at there. It's flooded with like at least I have like at least 300 something unopened messages. So I'll go look for yours.
And Kelly, you're right. It would force us to see both sides.
For once.
right
Yeah.
now, though, the Democratic Party is so off the rails, in my opinion. James Carville
Yeah, I remember
wants
him.
out.
Yeah.
John Fetterman
Well, that's why they got to.
wants out. And now Bill Maher.
That
Bill
little-
Maher is already saying they continue this. My vote's in play. So they're going, oh, you're going to be. He goes, no, I didn't say I was going to be a Republican. I said my vote's in play
Listen,
because I won't
Jared,
put up with that.
guys, we are. I just said it to Dennis, and I'm starting to believe that it's almost time for a third or fourth party to
I'm all
emerge
for another party,
because
but
it has to happen.
one
Because
right now is
the one that we have,
grossly out of order.
the one that we have that is in the leadership of that party, and I don't, not so much all the people. I bet you it's not. Most Democrats that you would talk to can't believe this.
They need to speak up.
So what they got to do is make their own way.
Right.
Find a different thing. Let's make it 3. And I think on the Republican side, you probably need a split 2. They need different.
I think the opportunity for the Democrats to
Mm.
clean house is now.
It's coming.
Get rid of the
I
primary
think it's coming.
should take care of some of it.
Mm.
But then because they're going to lose. They're going to lose. Nobody wants what they want.
If they win, look out.
And
but
then
if-
it's the end.
Like
But-
Dennis said about the Working Families Party and the Conservative Party, those should become more prominent, and the Conservative Party should definitely align further right. I think there's a lot of us that are further right than the Republican Party.
There are people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they have
There's
good
the
points.
rhinos and stuff like that. No, you can't have
And-
these people anymore.
And both sides, that's the funny thing. There's that extreme left.
Way extreme left, extreme right.
And then there's the normal group of Democrats that you remember. There's your normal group of Republicans that you remember.
But I'm only
And then
hearing
there's
from
wides.
a few of those people. They
Yeah.
need to speak out.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Organize
the
and
thing is,
speak
when
out.
they speak out, they get attacked by. I mean, they constantly get.
Well, they're
attacked.
going to have to suck it up and get attacked and fight.
But here's I'm going to say this against the Republicans. When a guy like Fetterman, who's the same guy he was when he ran in Pennsylvania, and everyone made fun of him and called him names and made
In the hood and all that
made a
stuff.
joke out of him. Now, because he says these things, now you guys like him. Well, see, that's bullshit. He was the same guy that he was
Yes.
before, and now just because he decides, I like you guys and I can't take this, now everyone's open arms.
But I think,
Yeah.
though, that nobody saw that side of him. They didn't see
Right.
that.
Well,
Now he has a chance to show who he
Mm.
really is. And now they're saying yes to what you're saying, John, is
Yeah.
absolutely correct. You got Republicans now.
Love him.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
love him.
And I understand it. You know what it is? It's because the Democrats are so wild
Yeah.
that when you hear something somewhat remotely like, oh my God, almost normal, you're like, yeah, come on in, buddy.
How about the woman, the Democrat, she wants to take away Thanksgiving?
I read
She's
about
one of
that.
the- in
Yeah.
the
There's a
primaries.
governor, I think, or
She's
something.
the governor of Wisconsin.
Well, it's like what
yeah.
Sean Mapp was talking about.
They want to eliminate Thanksgiving.
They want to take away the word mother and father and replace it
Right.
with.
Yeah.
I forgot what the.
It's why
Oh,
James
what?
Carville
Some
said.
crazy
They're
stuff, yeah.
insane. They're insane. They're full of radical Muslims, and it's got to be.
It's got to
killed.
stop.
It's got to be killed. You got to kill. You could say whatever you want with the Republicans, and I
Right.
agree with John. The rhinos and stuff like that, they need to get rid of them. But
This isn't.
people that I'm talking about are a threat to this country. Huge, huge.
Yeah, because
Dearborn, Michigan, and all those places, you're seeing it.
yeah, and it's not. I mean, it's just not America
If I
at
was,
all. Like it's not even close.
if I was an even-minded person, you better jump on. You might not like it. Jump on the Republican side until they clean this up.
I don't want to have to.
Clean this up.
I don't want to have to be on any sides. I want
And that's you don't have to be.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanna-
don't
I-
just vote smart.
Yeah.
Just
Well, that's
vote
what I'm
common
saying.
sense.
Vote
Yeah,
smart. Who are you going to
Yeah.
vote for on that side?
right.
Right.
Who
Yeah,
can you name one? Name one Democrat you would vote for that's in the middle of all this right now. You can't. I can't.
No.
I wish that, and you know what? I wish I could.
Mm,
Sure.
I wish there was. I would love a strong Democratic Party. It doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist right
so
now.
the Republicans are what they are, but they're a hell of a lot better than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If you just go in there with common sense on your mind, then I
Yeah.
think you can.
I like Marco being.
You do what you got to do. Like you'll pick. What's that, Robin?
Kelly says it sure does have a lot to do with the mainstream media, as evidenced by them refusing to show Trump's address.
Exact. Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
Oh, the other night. I
Yeah,
see what you mean. Yeah.
That's something we haven't talked about. How everybody knows it, but how big of a threat is this to our democracy? The mainstream media.
Mhm.
What did Trump used to say? They're the enemy of the American people. He said that years ago.
I don't
Media
care
around
who the
here is a
president of the
problem,
United
too.
States is. That address should be on every station, like it's
Every
always
state,
been.
and it always has been. I've never seen that.
No,
Have
me
you ever
neither.
seen that happen?
Never.
That's the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
This freedom of speech is on the blocks here.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I want to also say, just since we're talking about media and shit, Niagara Action, you see what they did with Ronnie. We've told you guys before. I'm not going to explain again who runs it and owns it.
Right.
They took a picture from the meeting about the chemicals with Ronnie and everybody, and they edited it, used AI, because that's what Niagara Action does. Used AI, made her look completely different, like a completely different person. Just changed everybody, made up whole entire lie heading that was a lie. Just stop if you're following the Niagara, unless you're following just a spy, which I know some people are. Thank you. Stop following the Niagara Action. It has been in trouble so many times for false news, fake reporting, or even saying stuff they're not supposed to say. It's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, that's about our 170th episode. We've said this every time, right,
It has
Noelle?
been-
Yeah.
It has been removed from a lot of places.
Oh, and yes, a lot of places have removed it. They're refusing to take the papers and stuff. It's just, I don't even know why nobody's doing anything about it, though.
Right.
I just
No.
don't
Right.
understand.
I
I
know.
don't think
me neither.
people are aware of
No,
that
they're
stuff.
aware.
Well, I talked to a woman the other day in Tops, and it was there, and I confronted. She says, "Oh well, it's for free." I said, "He doesn't make." I go, "Yes, he does." And then I explained. I said,
Yeah.
"You need to get this out of here."
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of.
And you can't trust it. You
No.
can't trust. I mean, because a lot of times people will see it and they'll be going after the mayor.
If
So-
anybody wants to know why, it's just message me. I can't say right here. Just
Right.
message me. I
Well-
will show you all the proof and evidence as to why you cannot.
I mean, it's kind of like putting out stuff against the mayor. And no one's look at. But I'm not even going to get into it. Putting out stuff against the mayor is like easy because then you can just, oh, it's against the mayor. Let me take this and read it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Type of thing. So that would all. It's just you got to realize it's fake. The stuff they say is fake. It doesn't. I couldn't trust it at all.
Yeah.
Not a word they say. So just stop using that. We've said it so many freaking times,
Yes.
and I see it too in the stores. Oh, God. And that was taken.
Still?
I've seen them. Yeah, and then you have to take them. And the one Tops had 1 million of them.
Tops, and I've spoken to Tops. They were supposed to remove it too, but we're gonna have to talk.
But some businesses, and I won't mention it,
And
taking them
Wegmans.
out,
a lot of
throwing
places
them right
have,
out.
yeah. A lot of places won't. And I know Scott's been good at getting rid of them too. My mom has been, yeah.
Because I know, like, because I think, what did they do? Niagara Falls Reporter is another one.
Yeah.
That's the other thing because they're just a part.
That's all
they're
they do
just
is
all
share.
together.
Yeah, they're the
So,
same
they're
people.
the same
and,
people.
And so is the Action 716. It's
Yeah.
owned by the same people, and it's shares just the same stuff. So the Niagara Reporter shares Niagara Action stuff, and Niagara Action shares theirs, and the Action 716 is also the same owners. So
All right. Go ahead, Jerry.
I don't know. Could you say spread the word?
Yeah. Let
Spread
everyone
the word,
know.
Let people know.
Yeah.
Tell them when you go into these establishments and you see those. Usually they're outside the main entrance.
Right.
You see giant stacks of those papers. See the manager. Say, why is this here?
Right.
and how many times has it been like in the paper? Like the police have had to call out
And say
the Niagara Action but they don't do anything. They
Right.
always say they're going to do something. They just
do
don't.
nothing. They just
It's
continue.
ridiculous. Like you should be in trouble for reporting false news and
Absolutely.
like creating.
You should. Right, Robin. Did you have something you wanted to say before we
I do.
shoved off?
Our friend Chris Ruggiero, a meteorologist, is doing an event for the Pets Alive Western New York 20th anniversary. They do great work for animals. It's Saturday, August 22nd, 12 to 4 at the Shawnee Volunteer Fire Hall. If anyone has any baskets or donations, they can get a hold of Chris. They can get a hold of me. He's definitely looking for those. And a huge shout out to Dana Gramanti and Scott Nasoy, who had 5 baskets picked up today by Chris.
Wow.
You guys are just amazing.
Scott's amazing, yeah.
And I love you for supporting the event.
Scott's awesome.
All right.
One more thing, I think.
Yes.
The restoration of the creek. They're
Yeah.
having
Oh,
a
yeah.
big extravaganza over here. I think it's the 13th. They said I don't know if it's the pavilion.
Oh,
I
wow.
think they said pavilion. And they're providing food and a lot of information about what's going to happen with this creek.
Oh, that's
Gill
cool.
Creek.
All
So
right.
if you're not doing anything and you especially live around it, it'd be a cool thing to go to. It's right in Hyde Park,
August 13th.
August 13th.
It's on a Thursday.
Oh,
That's nice.
I got one thing too. I want to
Yeah.
say. So I live in an area. Where obviously, I'm sure it's toxic waste and chemicals. It's right off Buffalo Avenue near all the factories, whatever. I called it. I messaged the DEC, emailed them. I wanted my property tested. They came. Well, first of all, cops came to my door. I don't answer the door for cops, so whatever. Yeah, we all know that. But they said that they took samples from my yard. There was nothing. I'm pretty sure if you take samples from someone's yard, you're gonna know.
Right.
There was nothing was touched. There's no holes dug. Nothing was taken. Then the
Weird.
next day they said they came back, that they did readings or whatever, couldn't find anything. Well, then why didn't they show me those results?
Right.
Why didn't I get why didn't they come and show us the results or anything? Where is the sample? What samples did you take?
How could they go on your property without your permission?
I did give them permission. I signed
Well,
it.
didn't they come to your door?
They did that. Yes, they came to my door, but where was the samples that they took?
And-
There's
and
no
they weren't
sign.
on your
How they
ring doorbell.
sample.
And my
either.
ring doorbell didn't pick up them
They
taking
might not
samples.
be have to dig anymore. There might be something. They
What,
can
they
just-
take up a little piece of dirt?
No,
Because
they might
that's-
not. There might be a device they can use.
Well, no, because Lexi, they took samples of her. They dug her shit up. They
Oh, yeah.
dug. I mean, everybody who's gotten samples, their shit got dug right up. I mean,
Well,
I don't
next
know.
time they come to your house, talk to.
Well, if they don't have a police officer who looks like he's in a shitty mood, then maybe I would have. I'm not gonna answer the door for any cops.
I have
You don't encourage that, Jerry. please.
Yeah.
I have
Ryan's finally catching
know,
on.
yeah, please.
Oh no!
I have reached out to the Tim Kennedy people to ask if they wanted to join us at some point. So we'll see if they say yes.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'd love to talk to them. And anyone else out there that would want some sort of politician to come on to talk to us, send me a message. We'll ask them.
You know who I want to ask is Tim Heather.
Yeah, is he's running for something? Legislature?
Yes, he's running
Okay.
for legislature.
Yeah, Tim, I would love to have Tim on.
And
We
I'd
will
love
get
to-
him.
I'd love to have Tim on. I'm going to get a hold of him.
All right, we definitely will. All right, why don't we get out of here? Anything left? Anything, guys? Nothing,
No.
right? We'll just get out.
No, I think
Thanks,
that's it.
Dennis.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Dennis.
Dennis.
Thanks.
Yes, thanks to Dennis. And we will see you guys next week for sure.
Yeah.